All right, we should be live. Welcome back, everybody. Wednesday evening, approximately 9 o'clock. I tried to get on right at the top of the hour. This is a little bit crazy trying to get all the kids down for bed this evening, simply because I've got 4 of them, plus a wife. She's a little crazy, but I love you, sweetie. She's off playing Animal Crossing right now, but yeah, so 4 kids, and then I have to get them all down. Of course, I'm more or less helping my wife, then she's helping me, but we got to get their teeth brushed. They're all hyped up from swim classes and everything. So yeah, it gets crazy. That's what I'm going to talk about a little bit more tonight. If you guys watched the podcast earlier today, I touched base a lot on what's going on, or my opinions of what's going on at Deeproot. And it's a little bit different than what other people have been talking about. Everybody's been talking about how the reveal went and everything. And that's literally all we're going to talk about this evening. And I don't know how long we're going to go. All I do know is we will keep going as long as I feel like I have stuff to say. And as long as there's plenty of interaction going on and we cover as much space that we can. So I kind of want to hear what the community's point of view is on all this. Of course, if we go to Pinside, obviously the pitchforks are completely out, over there. But I understand too, that's only one ecosystem of all this that is going on. Thus, I want to really hear different opinions on it. But other than that, we're going to take a giant deep dive into Deeproot tonight. We're going to analyze it. We're going to look at it. We're going to figure out what means what. And we'll do that here pretty soon. What's up, Stiggy? How you doing there? Got my Deadpool. I nearly called it my Deeproot cup, but it's my Deadpool cup. Got my green tea. I'm ready to go. I'm not coughing right now, so I'm happy about that. I always worry, especially this past couple of weeks with the way my allergies are going, that I'm just going to cough just nonstop. It's just going to be ridiculous. I'm always worried about that. But I feel better right now. Like I'm feeling good. Feeling good. We just got to figure out this this whole Deeproot mess. And it is a mess. There's like I was talking about it earlier to you. There is so much to unpack out of this. There is a considerable amount that I can't even it's almost difficult to figure out exactly where to really start at with it. So it's kind of like we just start from the very top, especially with what they showed on This Week in Pinball, and then we'll just go down the line. But that is my general plan. So let's go ahead and just switch it over right now. And yeah, so it's all right here. We're just going to go through this one by one. And realistically, I probably should have put my camera on the other side because that would have been intelligent. So maybe I might do that. You know what? Forget it. We'll leave it here because we'll read above my camera. I'm making way too much sense right now. All right. So as everybody knows, I'm sure people that trickle in here, they'll have something to say. I'm definitely open to discussion on all this. But as everybody knows, Deeproot had a little bit of a hiccup of a reveal this past week. And it was supposed to be 2 days ago. And of course, as we know now, there was several, as it says right here, several pinball ambassadors, including Kerry Hardy, Chris Chandler, Colin McAlpine, Jeff Patterson, Crystal, and Lauren Gregg. So they were all there checking things out. We kind of know what happened, and then we kind of don't. There's that gray area or that dark area that we have no idea what's going on. This is Chris from San Antonio. Thanks to you and flipping out for the Stern pin mat. You are welcome. You are most definitely welcome, Chris. We're talking Deeproot. I'm sure you might have some feelings on Deeproot also, since you're located down in Texas. But I am highly intrigued by what's going on. And there's so many facets to this. And it's hard to really discuss it all without sounding like a broken record. I know obviously there's a lot of opinions that are very strong opinions. There's a lot of upset people, which realistically to me, I feel like it's okay to be upset if you're disappointed, if you had certain expectations, or what have you. What I think we got to really be careful of is just straight out ripping to be hateful. Like, I think we got to be very careful of that. And I discussed it yesterday evening with both Jeff Teolis and Marty, that, you know, a lot of this was probably brought on by Robert, obviously, by the way that he is very boastful, very proud. And that's just, I have to assume, I've never met him in person, I have to assume that's just how he is. And he's very proud of the things he's doing. And I think it's important that we separate the people that are working inside of Deeproot and understand that those are still people that aren't necessarily at the forefront, that are just pounding their chest for everybody to see. And so I want to be very careful about lumping everybody in with that. And so what I'm trying to unpack tonight with this deep dive, like we're going to get into the weeds and we're going to cut them down, and then we're just going to go further into the weeds this evening. And I'm really trying to just figure out what exactly is going on, what things could mean, because there are some interesting nuggets in all this. There is a lot of things that intrigue me about it. And that's me trying to work past what Raza is supposed to be. Because I know a lot of people are all about, you know, how Raza is. I know I've shot it down at Houston last November during the prototype phase and all that, and it wasn't the greatest thing ever. I was very critical of it, but I was critical of it because I wanted it to get better. Like, anytime that I give criticism, I always like to give criticism to a point that I want something to get better. I don't want to hate just to hate. I want to see the good in something and try to figure out how to make it better. Like, if there's something that I don't like, I'll voice my opinion that I don't like it, but I want to also try to figure out how to make it better. And so that's kind of where I'm at on it. So I don't know if we're even going to really need to discuss Raza too much. I feel like at this point, it might be beating a dead horse at this point. I think all the other podcasts, all other content, you're going to see a lot of Raza talk. You're going to see a lot of it. So I think we need to really unpack other areas of this. And the main thing that I'm really interested in is the overall software that they're bringing. I think that's highly intriguing. And that's what really interests me. See, Chris, you feel bad for the Zidware folks? Everyone, yeah, I agree. I do feel bad for them. I do. I hope they get made whole. I really do. And like I said, that's another facet of this whole thing. There really is so much stuff. You got the Zidware, you got the people that have the NDAs now, you've got Robert with how he is, you got one of the best guys in pinball with Bowden, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, involved in it. And, you know, we're not sure where he's at with everything. Like, I hate that he had to make the decision to kind of switch around fun with bonus, but he did say he did that himself. He wasn't told to do that or anything like that. That was his decision only. And so there's so much in here. There really is. All right, so moving ahead, it says right here that we all agree that Deeproot's platform and ecosystem and innovations are very ambitious and will be impressive and exciting when they are ready. Unfortunately, due to technical issues with Raza and other questions and concerns that were brought up by the guests during and after the tour, it was clear that Deeproot was not ready for launch. Robert has been very receptive to our thoughts, criticisms, and concerns, and we appreciate his open mind. The leaked pictures do not show the final cabinet features or the final under the glass features, as they did not have all the parts yet in-house. The bottom line is they were overly optimistic and this planned launch was premature. Now to me, that's confusing. And the reason why it's really confusing to me is because they announced this reveal a few weeks ago. They knew that they were coming up to this point, yet they didn't have a working pin that was fully ready to go. They knew that there were still, I guess, parts in the game that weren't final, which is, I don't know how you reveal how you even attempt to reveal a pin that is not the final part. To me, that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, one of the things that I was thinking earlier today with the podcast I was talking about was that this part is what caught my eye. When they're talking about technical issues, I think that that relates directly to the Pinbar when I first saw that. And there's somewhere in here, I'll scroll down a little bit before we come back up. There's somewhere down in here where they do confirm that actually. And I think it's right here. Yeah, there it is right there. And I know obviously some people probably talked about this, but at the same time, I think a lot of people don't realize this either. When they just hear technical issues, a lot of them think it might have to do with mechs. This right here does not say anything about that. This clearly says that the tour group saw some of the features of the Pinbar, but due to technical issues that Raza was experiencing, the Pinbar interaction was glitchy. So that's interesting. I wonder what that means. Does that mean, I mean, the way that I'm reading this, Raza was having issues, which therefore made the Pinbar be glitchy itself. That's the way I'm reading it. And I think as is, they could not show this without the Pinbar being an extreme part of it. I think really that's what it boils down to. So since that Pinbar was messing up, that just goes to show you, if they didn't show it because the Pinbar was messing up, it really tells you how important that is, all the games. And that's really where my focus goes, is what is this Pinbar? What does it do exactly? And they list a whole lot of features, and we'll get down to it here pretty soon. But that's my overall theory, just reading it and reading between the lines and focusing on that. I don't think it has anything to do with, well, it could. It's so bizarre though to me that the game itself wouldn't be ready. But when I think of the Pinbar thing, like, okay, one, I'll tell you straight up, I don't like the name. And two, I don't like what it looks like. What I do like is the software. I like the opportunities that the software shows. That's what I really like about it. But we'll see. We'll get down to that. Like I said, there's so much to unpack. We'll start with the cabinet and back box right now, and we'll get down to that. We'll get down to it. So you guys feel free in the chat. Tell me exactly what you guys think. We'll have lots of interaction tonight. I'm curious to know. Obviously, some people don't like it, and that's perfectly fine. So looking at the cabinet and back box, when they're talking about that there's two types of cabinets, arcade edition, Cylon style grill, I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. I have to Google that. I have no idea what that means. I guess that's this below. I don't know. Somebody might know. I don't know what it means. It says this cabinet looks more standard with familiar hinge bar linking the back box to the main cabinet. The back box has a panoramic wrap backlit artwork. Sorry, if I'm slurring my words, it's literally because I'm trying not to cough into the mic. My allergies is going nuts, runny nose, the whole 9 yards. It's a lot of fun, let me tell you. What's up, Dom? You can't live without a touchscreen. It's a little odd. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little odd. That, like I said, I like the idea. We'll get to the Pinbar. We'll get to it. Let me get through this and we'll get to it. All right, so this to me, I'm trying to wrap my head around what I'm seeing here. I'm willing to bet in person, it probably looks pretty cool. In person, I bet that the way the lighting is, I bet the panoramic view of it, I bet that part looks cool. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of this part right here. I'm not a fan of the gap. And I heard some people say they found themselves really looking at the gap. My only worry is that it really depends on what you have for your background. Like, I like to feel like I'm completely immersed. If I'm in a situation where I might be looking up back there for whatever reason, and then right in this area, directly above this, if there's a gap there, especially if it's a light background, I feel like my eye is going to notice that. But I might be over picky on that. I'm not going to lie. You know, artwork, I don't know whether to really judge it or not. This is obviously they're going for some type of like old school, maybe 50s, 60s movie poster vibe. kind of, but updated at the same time. It gives me that horror B feeling is what it gives me. But I'm not crazy about the names down here. Like, I get what they're going for. I'm just not crazy about it. Okay, it means Houston style cap. Okay, that makes more sense to me. The Sega Showcase. Yeah, and that's, somebody was actually mentioning it to me earlier, that there's a lot of ideas that they have that's been done before or was going to be done at some point. So this is intriguing to me, with all models featuring a proprietary hinged assisted lift and drop, glass frame, and lock bar sill. I don't mind this. And the reason why I don't mind this is because I actually hate having to remove glass. If I have to get a stuck ball, if I have to fix something, if I have to lift up the playfield, I don't like removing the glass over and over and over again. So I like this. This intrigues me a little bit. It seems like it'd be more simplistic. And then I would assume, based off what we're seeing right here, that means that the playfield would just basically, instead of leaning up against the back box, I wonder if it'll just be able to sit in the middle of the whole cabinet as it's setting up. So I find that interesting. It says inside the cabinet, it contains 2 power supplies, a PC and components, optional up-fired speakers for, let's see, 4.1 audio option, custom subwoofer enclosure and amp, optional shaker motor. Let's see, they shared the design active airflow to minimize fan noise. So that's good. That'd be nice if you don't have to buy you don't have to mod it afterwards to make it quieter. So, I mean, there's a lot of technical jargon in here. Basically, it seems like it's going to have, obviously, internet capability. It should have decent sound and quiet fans. I think everybody won't mind that at all. See, Google the machine AF Tour by Wico Pinball. Okay, what is that from, 904? Are you talking about... Which one are you talking about when you're saying that? Like, just explain it like I'm 5, since I won't be able to Google it just yet. And then, let's see, 3 options for cabinet side panel art, vinyl-based wrap, direct print on the wood, with pin armor coating. And I heard about the pin armor. Like, the hammer test thing, honestly, I don't care about. I don't mind if my playfield has dimples in it. I don't. I'm not a high-end collector. I like playing pins. I'll buy an LE every now and again, but I'd never notice the dimples. Like, I'll see it if I'm like super staring at it, but in the middle of a game, I don't know. And I've never had anybody come over that's not a hardcore pinball person that's ever noticed. So it's never been a big deal to me, but I could understand why it would be for some people. Let's see, fingerprint resistant glass. I like that. That's nice, especially since I have kids and they like putting their hands on everything. Won't have to clean the glass near as much. Additional GI lighting to the underneath of the glass frame for variable and diffused lighting of the playfield area. So now I'm wondering, is that going to act like pin stadiums do? I figured that would be a given eventually, that something like that would happen. It says the tour group saw some, but not all the features. The lifting glass top worked smoothly. We did not see the Cylon style grill with the panoramic wrap backlit artwork, but did see the floating back box with the panoramic wrap backlit artwork as pictured above. Okay, so I'm looking for the Cylon style grill and it's not even up there. So that's the way I'm understanding that. The backlit side art panels that come on the extra model were due to arrive at Deeproot this week. So the extra model that we saw had placeholder vinyl base wrap for the sides. Okay. So again, just a lot of reveal, but yet not the final thing. Not the final thing. Why was this not the actual reveal yesterday? Okay, so that's what I would like to know too. And it's obvious that this is all just reactionary from what happened, whatever it was this weekend. I think that they planned on really showing off this pin bar on Raza. And as soon as this went down, like I said earlier on the podcast, the whole ship went down with it. Panic set in. They didn't have all this ready. There's no way they did, because then you wouldn't have to worry about canceling it. You could just be like, look, here's the reveal. We'll do a little live Q&A, whatever, for like 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll just release this and just show everybody. That's all they had to do. They did not have to put on this huge expectation on themselves, because then everybody is going to hold you to that standard. And then when you don't meet your own standard, it doesn't look good. You know, it doesn't look good. Yeah, look at the left flipper. Yes, that's That's a wee bit concerning. That's the one thing I noticed right off the bat seeing this. All right. If Kaneda's leaked info is good, then arcade model is Cylon cab. All features the same on all models, just no special stuff, and is 5,000. That's a winner. Yeah, from what I understand, they are going to be very aggressive with their pricing. And it makes me wonder whether or not they're actually going to have any margin built in, or is that just designed to be a loss leader just to get their product out there? I would have to think it's possibly just a loss leader, but we'll go from there. Let's see. Brian, you like the idea of the Pinbar, but curious to know how much it could distract the player while playing. It reminds me of an advanced version of Atari Pinball Scoreboard in the same area. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm wondering the same thing. Are the flippers different links? No. Stiggy, what you're seeing is bad. You're seeing misaligned flippers that I'm very surprised that they let this picture go to print. I'm very surprised. And we'll dig into the Pinbar logistics here in just a few. So I'll be honest, I don't like the idea of, I take that back. I like the idea of it. I don't like the look of this. But I understand what they're going for in terms of it being touch base. What I don't want is a game in which I'm required to have to play on a computer screen during the game. I don't want that to be part of the rules. And they seem to indicate at some point in here, I'm not sure if I saw it in here, but I remember reading it earlier, that the possibility is there in order to have to use that during a game for purposes of actually playing the game, not just going through different options. All right, so the other part is what got me is, if we notice, obviously whoever's taking this picture is leaning a little bit more forward than what a lot of us would normally be at a pinball machine. Some of us might be this close. Others might stand a little bit further back. I know sometimes I am close up. Other times I'm a little bit back. It just depends what I'm feeling at that point in time. But I am curious because this doesn't seem like much of a gap right here. And the angle that we're at, I feel like I would even be a little bit further back. Therefore, that angle might even be more shallow. And I'm really curious, like how players like DJ Real and players like that stand either wide stance or split stance and stay back, or even shorter players. I'm curious to see how this works, whether the line of sight is still functional. It looks really close. And I don't know if that's because of this angle of the picture or whether or not it realistically is that close. I'm not sure yet. It looks like it is, but again, won't know. I did, for you guys, I did this. I went behind me to my pinball machine earlier today, and I stood right there and I acted like I had to look down at my lock bar. And I'll be honest, they said on here that they feel like it's a more natural thing. For me, it was not natural at all, because I was really going in my head trying to figure out, at any point, have I ever looked down at the lock bar during a game? And I realized I played thousands of games, and I honestly don't think I've ever actually looked down at the lock bar, like during the game, even when trapped up for any reason whatsoever. Even if there's an action button there, I realize there's an action button there, but I don't actually look at it and start hitting it. So for me, it wasn't natural. Now, I will say this, if you're playing on all the time, it probably will eventually become natural, but I felt like when I was at a pinball machine and I needed to look up at the LCD, I didn't even have to move my head. I could be looking down at the flippers and then just peek up and I would see what it was here. But I could not peek down. I could not look straight down. I had to actually move my head. Now, I know that sounds so simple, first world problem, but like I said, it wasn't natural for me. Might be natural for other people, but yeah, it was just weird. It was just weird to me. So I will contend, though, that just means, and actually, Carrie, you said it best right there. You actually said it best. I will contend that there's no reason to look down, so therefore it's not going to be natural yet. Okay? It's the same thing. Like American Pinball, when they came out with Hot Wheels, the LCD threw me off. The LCD screen that was just over, that threw me off for about the first 2 weeks. And then eventually I got used to it. So I could see something like this being the same thing. So, Carrie, I wish I could ask you what you thought about this, because I'm very curious to know the distance, if you're standing at it, what it seems like. I'm very curious. So let's see. So the Pinbar displays a ton of resources and information about the game, including animation, timers, shot log, which is really cool, scores, multipliers, recommended next shots, that's really cool, and more. It also serves as a start button and menu where you can change gameplay settings, diagnose issues, log in under your Deeproot account, which is really awesome, on any Deeproot machine, whether it be in your home or location. So when I look at this, like, I'll be flat out honest, guys. When I look at this, the whole Pinbar thing, right? Not going to comment on the looks of it. I'm thinking more of the software and the possibilities. This is legitimately innovative. I feel like that this is extremely innovative. They have a lot of things in here in which I've wished that Pinball has. And I really feel like that this plays a huge part in whatever they're doing. I think that this is so much more important than any one theme that they're coming out with. Like, obviously, yes, themes sell, but if you're coming out with original themes, okay, and you're coming out with a lot of them, and you're coming out with this Pinbar thing, I don't think going on route is your in-game goal. Home user is your in-game goal. I'm not saying that they don't want to sell the locations. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't think that that is really their priority. I think they have a different priority. And I think a lot of it revolves around this Pinbar, you know, and the software with it. So I find this very intriguing. I really do. Let's see. You've seen tempered playfield glass shatter from someone hitting the lockdown bar. Whew. Yeah, that would be rough. I am curious to know how this would play with somebody nudging it. Like, we know Bowden, he is very aggressive with his nudging, very aggressive with his slaps. If it can hold up, if he doesn't have a problem with it, then none of us will have a problem with it. You know, it's just, it's tough. It's tough. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and just read through this and we'll see. They say that, and for those that don't know what the Pinbar is, and you're seeing this for the first time, here's what it is. It's the most powerful, revolutionary innovation ever to be added to a pinball machine. It takes the modern touch display, used countless times a day on our smartphones, tablets, laptops, and kiosks, and it creates a permanent blank canvas for us to expand pinball with infinite possibilities. It links the physical world to the digital. It opens doors to nearly endless new ways to interact with your pinball machine. So a lot of jargon there. Let's try to get to the goods here. Let's see. The Pinbar's development took years with methodical consideration of thousands of engineering and GUI design concerns to make sure if we were going to tie a touchscreen to a pinball machine that we would get it right the first time. Some of the considerations that follow show how much engineering has to go into adding a touchscreen to a pinball machine. So aspect ratio, size must be perfect due to the hand position apron. And that's exactly what we're talking about. I think that that's why they have the size. I don't think they can change the size of it. That's my concern. Like, obviously, if they make it smaller, you have to make the text smaller. It becomes more difficult to read, and then you might be accidentally hitting something that you're not meaning to. So I could see that. Let's see, the ease of a replacement without a technician, that's nice. Durability, impact analysis. Again, if they have Bowden there, I'm telling you guys, he slaps the shit out of the machines. He is world class at nudging. If it can survive him, it can survive anybody. See, increasing ease of viewing screen information during play without having to look up and away at the back bar. Keep existing expectations, habits of touch, interactivity. See, keep screen content simple and uncluttered. That's a big deal. To me, that's a big deal. I like the idea of that. If they can achieve that, then I'll be a little bit more on board with it. See, ability to start a game almost as quick as a traditional start button, but add extra flexibility and options. Signal what to touch, how to touch it, giggity, and when not to touch. That makes sense. So this, I mean, it's intriguing. It's intriguing. When they announce that theme, you chuckle. Yeah, Carrie, a lot of those themes are head scratchers for me. A lot, but then some of them are decent though. Some of them I'm intrigued by. The other ones I'm just like, I don't know. I would have to wait to see it. All right, so let's get down to the details here. Let's get down. Go to Riverwind, not many physical buttons on the slots anymore, touchscreens everywhere. Yes. Yeah, definitely. All right, so visibility. Eyes are usually focused between the slingshots, and looking up at a screen on the back box is inconvenient. Looking down, more like glancing down, is much more natural and easier to quickly capture information and enjoy the beautiful Deeproot HUD and animations. Again, for me, I know that that's not going to work. And the reason why for me it wouldn't work, oh, I apologize. Let me make sure my phone's on silent. The reason why it would not work for me is because when I'm playing, I like to keep my head steady. Like that's just from my baseball days. I don't like being all around. I like to stay as steady as possible. Plus, I do have some issues in my back and my shoulder area as well that I literally, if I try to look down, I can feel it. So I have to like really change how I look down. I know it sounds silly, but it just, that's my body. That's just years and years. So I know I'm going to have to adjust to that. And it's, for me, it's going to be different. So let's see, aspect ratio. Vertical display areas on the pinball machine are almost impossible without making it not pinball anymore. Most modern displays use horizontal real estate rather than vertical. I can understand that. That is true. Matching aspect ratios offer many benefits from a development perspective. That I agree with. That I do agree with. Let's see, input. The decades-old 3 or 4 button control behind the coin door is archaic, very difficult to use for simple testing, maintenance, or task, and offers no flexibility, complexity, or dynamic content. Again, I would have to see it. I would have to see it before I know. Because I can't, it's hard to know until I see it. I don't feel, I've grown used to how to work the sterns. It's pretty simple for me. American Pinball, very easy to figure out. Jersey Jack, I haven't had to do it as often, but most people that I know that have one, if anybody here has one, I'm sure you guys will probably tell me. I mean, is that easy? Is the coin door, is the operation of all that? I mean, I don't know if that's a big deal or not. I have no idea. Let's see, Carrie, you didn't want the footage in the video of the Pinbar during gameplay because Bowden wants to show that off himself. And that's the key. That's the key right there. I feel like that's their big one. I really do. See, your coin door dialed in is natural. Okay, cool. Let's see. Also, if leaked info is good and Deeproot is trying to undercut Stern pricing, if they price non-licensed or simple machines cheaper than original themes, pins may sell. Yes, but okay. So Chris, keep in mind too, when it comes to business, here's my main concern. And again, I don't know. Like even when I'm voicing my concerns here, none of us really know unless we're actually privy to their financials. What Deeproot is going to have a difficult time with right now is it's going to take a lot of time for them to recover their initial investments and to get investors paid back or whoever is owed money. They have to bring in a lot of revenue. And you also, whenever you are doing a new business and you have a lot of sunk cost, you have to start doing revenue producing actions as well. And it is quite possible that their bottom tier model that they sell, those might be designed not to make money up front, but to get people to their brand, to make it more accessible for people to have their brand compared to a Jersey Jack or compared to a Stern or anybody else. And therefore, maybe they're not trying to make money up front on that. They're using it as a potential loss leader to get somebody in on the back end later on to where they do start buying multiple pins. That's a possibility. That's how some businesses run. I don't know if they're running it like that. I'm not sure. Let's see. Hopefully they'll eventually put something out. Not going to hold my breath though. Goonies now. I mean, and that's the thing. I said this. I don't think the podcast is out now or yet, guys, but I was on Final Round. I taped an episode with them yesterday. And the number one thing I said is that as soon as Deeproot starts putting out pins, if they're consistent in getting pins out, manufacturing, getting them to market, and getting them sold, and they end up in homes, people will forget very quickly. And then they will be judged on the pins that they're producing, on the products they're producing. And that's where you want to be as a business. You want to be judged on what you're producing, not what you're not producing. So they're still in a decent spot. People might be going nuts or whatever, but again, as soon as you put out product, people are very forgiving. They really are. I mean, that's just the way it is in any industry. All right, so where were we here? Interactivity. All right, let me take a drink real quick. Mouth's getting dry. All right, interactivity. Usually visual content or mini video games can only be controlled by existing flipper buttons or adding an extra physical button, which substantially restricts interactivity, experiences, and features. A multi-touch high-res screen provides unlimited and dynamic interactivity, just like your smartphone. All right, for me, again, I don't like the idea of this. I get what they're going for, but I don't want my pinball to play like I have an iPad or an iPhone in my hand or anything touch-based. Like, I personally don't want that out of a pinball machine. But that being said, I could understand how other people might see this as a bonus. I could understand what they're trying to achieve because there's millions of people that's a natural thing every single day. Like, our phone is our number one thing that we have contact with every single day. So I get it from that standpoint. They really put on their site for distributors. All right, so let's see here. Rule set and content. All right, I think this is a part that really caught my eye. The existing system does not allow robust on-demand and flexible updating and customization of rule set and content. A touchscreen is the perfect input-output canvas for a framework that allows unlimited ways to add new content on the fly and seamlessly change the digital rules of a physical game. That's a big deal. I think that's a much bigger deal than what a lot of people realize. If you just go over that and you go to the next thing, the ability or the hint that you're going to be able to add content to your game near instantaneously is interesting. The idea that you can change the rule set is very interesting. That hasn't been done before. And if you can actually change the rule set, the longevity of your game automatically goes up. It automatically goes up. So that is interesting to me. That's what catches my eye the most. All right, Kevin, sign into your Deeproot account. Perhaps they may have a high score ranking system, maybe DLC revenue. That is true. They are doing a lot of things like that. At least they say that they are. And the DLC stuff is actually, I'm interested in that because I remember reading something in here. It kind of hints at that. I wonder if there's a world in which we all have profiles on Deeproot, right? If we all have the game or any type of system, right, with Deeproot, and somebody can decide to design their own rule set and upload it to where other people can play that same rule set. And everybody can say, hey, 1 star, 2 star, 3, all the way up to 5, give reviews. That would be intriguing. I would find that very interesting. I really would. Gen Z doesn't give an F about pinball. They're the only ones that can't live with it. That's true. That's true. But keep in mind that whatever they're coming out with today, they want this tech to be relevant 10 years from now. You know, and in 10 years from now, you're going to have a lot of mid-20s, right, that grew up in that time frame, especially with internet, with touchscreens and all that. All of a sudden, those mid-20s are going to be mid-30s, right? I mean, it'll be here sooner than later. So I could see, like I said, for me, the touchscreen, I don't care about, but I could see people younger and eventually 5-10 years from now, it being relevant. And that seems like the type of technology they kind of got to get ahead of, you know. But again, I do agree, though. I don't think the vast majority of people in pinball today, like right now, would care about that. I don't. Let's see, problem solving. It's very difficult to diagnose and repair problems using the current pinball systems without having prior and extensive knowledge. The Pinbar now allows more intuitive interaction to display and diagnose issues, as well as remote management and video chats. Again, very intriguing. I take that, if they're saying remote management and video chats, I wonder, does that mean that they're going to have techs? Like you can contact a Deeproot tech if you have an issue? That would be totally new if you were able to do something like that. So that's intriguing. It would even be more intriguing if you could be able to contact just not only a Deeproot tech, but anybody that has Skype or something like that, to where you can readily get help on whatever it is that you're doing. All right, next one is not approachable. Current pinball machines are simply not approachable to most people who expect interactive audio-visual experiences, just like their smartphone or tablet. Again, not quite sure what that means in terms of audio-visual. I guess hitting something on the screen and then you hear a sound. I don't know what they're getting at there. Then innovative and virtually upgradable. Because of the fixed static physical nature of existing pinball machines, there's no way to instantaneously and dynamically expand features or build upon the physical world. The Pinbar changes that with interactive settings and upgradable content using the unlimited virtual world. Again, big deal. That part's a big deal. That signals to me DLC. That signals to me that you can have different rule sets, which would be interesting. I think that, I mean, what do you guys think? You guys tell me. Even if you're lurking out there, if you haven't said anything yet, I mean, just yes or no. Does the idea of custom rule sets, or you being able to download a custom rule set to your pinball machine, does that intrigue you? Or does it seem too overwhelming if you have to learn more than one rule set? Like, to me, it's intriguing to put a totally different rule set on. I'm intrigued by that. I still don't know the practical aspects of it, but I am intrigued by it. Because realistically, that means that you would be able to host an event or a tournament to where you could really switch some things up rules wise. You know, that intrigues me a lot. It really does. You want more possible game settings? Yeah, that would be a thing. Let's see, that would be neat. And then you could share rule sets with other users. I agree, Tony. Definitely. Paul, you like it. Brian, you think it's interesting? Yeah, Kevin, exactly. Pin golf. There's a lot of applications for that. I think by far that would be one of the most innovative things to happen to pinball. Even more innovative than playing online against somebody. The ability to make your own rule sets. The ability to share your own rule sets, the ability to make your own adventure nearly. That'd be interesting. All right, Carrie, what does the site say about Magic Girl? I think, let me scroll down real quick for you, Carrie. I know it's down here at the very bottom. I think it just says, all right, let's see. Primary designer, Papa Duke, concept in this post-medieval age, potions, alchemy, and new magics constantly shift the balance of power between good and evil. So they just basically say the concepts and the features. Continues play in immersive CYOA world with hundreds of plays to win, and yes, floating balls too. I think that's all they got on here about it. I wonder if we would see the light of day with it though, because they got so many ideas, so many different potential designs. The question is the manufacturing. Manufacturing is the question. The features portion should help you out. Carrie, I feel like you're hinting at something here. I'm trying to read between the lines, but I'm sorry, brother. I'm running on fumes right now. If I'm misreading, I apologize. Let's see. You think showing the public the ability to select difficulty levels without having to open the coin door is a winner? Yes, Chris, I agree. The chance to change your difficulty and get to select that early on, I like that. That's a great thing too. That's a great thing as well. All right, let's come back up here. All right, now we got all the features here. So I'm sure you guys can read this. Let's see. What would be interesting? The skill shot. That one caught my eye. Does that mean that he wants you to talk about the floating balls? Of course. So skill shot. Does that mean that the actual touchscreen, you'll have to do something with it in order to get? So it means create your own adventure. See, I didn't know that, Carrie. Thank you. I did not know that. Okay, so let's go back down there then. Let's go ahead and talk about that since we're on that right now. Let's go back down. I did not know that acronym. All right, continuous play in an immersive, create your own adventure world with hundreds of plays to win. And yes, floating balls too. Okay, so that is a big deal then. If it's what I think it means, Carrie, based on what you're hinting at, then the interaction of that with possibly the Pinbar, you might get to make a lot of choices early on. Maybe the narrative would be different from game to game. That would be cool. I would really like that. That's very intriguing. That's got my attention. Gosh, why not? It kills me. It kills me. I wish they would have revealed stuff like this, because there's so many good little nuggets in here. If you really dig down, there is a lot of excellent stuff. There's a lot of potential. Now, granted, we can go back and forth all day long that it's just potential that's not out yet, but there is innovation in here. If we get through the weeds and we get past the stuff, it's there. You can see it's there. But the fact that RPG Pinball, I've been asking for that forever. That has my attention. And I'll tell you the absolute truth. The main reason why I would enjoy it is because some games, it plays a little bit longer, and I don't want a game that's just grindy to where I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again to get score. If I could have something like that, I would like that. How would that work for tournament play? Brian, it wouldn't be for tournaments. It would not be for tournaments at all. The way that I'm reading that, this is like top of the line pin theme, like dream theme for a lot of people out there, just because it's a Papa Duke pin. I know obviously Magic Girl has some history behind it, but this would be like, it sounds like this would be the role, like the how am I trying to explain this? It would be a big deal for home play. That's the way I'll put it. That's the way I put it. But I don't think that in itself, though, would not be tournament. There's just no way, because tournament would have to be like it would have to be the same rule set, because you don't, especially if you're playing tournaments, you want things to be deterministic. You don't want things to be random. And I feel like if it's a create your own adventure, that's very random. Unless I'm reading too much into it and it doesn't go that far. So we'll see. Yeah, I imagine it would have a tournament mode. Yeah. If that's where we're going at, yes. I'm just saying that the CYOA would not. But yes, tournament mode, yes, of course. Of course. Some people just want to play, but also be told a story. Bingo. I fully 100% agree with that. And I'm one of them. I think that would be so cool. I think that'd be cool because, there's not a pinball machine out there yet that does that. There isn't. If I knew I could set my game, and I'm not even joking here, if I could set my game to 5 balls or even more, even a 10-ball game, because I knew that the pin was going to tell me a story. It was going to give me like a risk reward decision. It was going to give me, if you hit this shot, this will happen and your story will go that way. Or if you hit this series of shot, then your story goes that way. And even if there's a stop and then the LCD or the screen, whatever, tells the narrative, there's, the lights go out, all that stuff. I would be fully on board with that. I would love that for the home environment. I think that would be really cool. Hasn't been done yet, to my knowledge. If it has, I've totally just effed up and just totally missed out on everything. But I think that would be really cool. They're onto something with that. And to be honest with you, yes, like Red Pill, yes, exactly. And Magic Girl was not on my radar at all. If they do that, it's 100% on my radar. 100% on my radar. If they do that, that's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. Never been done before. That would be a really big deal. Late to the party is Deeproot coming out finally. You've been thirsty for a new J-pop game. Heath, I'm gonna have to set you down for a few. It's not ready yet. I'll just put it that way. We're really peeling back some layers tonight. So let's see, where were we earlier? I think we were up here. Okay. So getting back here, let's see. Okay, tutorials. That's another big deal. The tutorial part's really cool. I like the idea. If they could do this, this would be really cool. So imagine a scenario with me real quick. Imagine that you don't know how to start a certain multi-ball, and you can go into the tutorial screen, and you don't have to go through any generic tutorial. If you could hit a button, and then maybe the rules designer actually comes up on the screen and actually talks to you and tells you what to do, and then gives you, you know, an idea of what shots to hit. That would be really cool to me. I don't know if they're doing it that way, but that would be really cool. I know Stern kind of does this in a way with their features on the LCD a little bit, but to have an actual person walking me through certain aspects of the game, that would be really cool. And that would be a lifesaver. I can't tell you how many times I have to go to YouTube and really search something out and scrub through an entire video to try to figure out what to do at a very specific time. You know, it's mind-numbing sometimes, but that's where we're at right now. So this would be cool. This would be cool as well. See, Brian, you're just happy Deeproot has finally shown us something. Even if it's not finished yet, still in progress. It's good to know there's actual progress being made, not more smoke screen. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And like I said, I know obviously a lot of people were, you know, they got riled up over everything that happened. But I do think that there's stuff in here that is very intriguing. And I do think that there is stuff in here that's highly innovative. During tournaments, Chris, no. I wish. That would be nice, right? Just trap up. I'm going to look at the tutorial now. They didn't turn it off. All right, so teasers and trailers. The food truck game teaches you how to cook. My wife wishes it did, because then she could finally eat my cooking. I'm terrible at it. That's all there is to it. All right, so teaser and trailers. Okay, that's, you know. What's next? Suggest it. Shot Genie. That one's cool. That one's pretty cool. Imagine if you're trapped up and you need a helper and you just hit a button and it kind of tells you, it teaches you. That I like that. I like the idea of having something that teaches you and gives you an idea of what you're supposed to go for next, because sometimes it's not necessarily intuitive for a new player. And it's kind of like I had to do the same thing when I was playing chess with my son. My oldest son, he plays in competitions and all that, whips my butt all the time. And even on, you know, different software that we use, I sometimes need that to tell me what to do. But he has a chess software that literally gives him an idea of what move would have been the right move. Even he can choose to see it before, or he could choose to see it after he makes a move. So something like this, similar, that would be pretty cool as well. Let's see, customizable shot log, score and leaderboard, achievements. That's another big thing. I think achievements is a long time coming. The idea of that, I've been waiting for that for so long. I like the idea of being able to have a profile, right? Similar to the way PlayStation works or Xbox. And you give me a list of things I need to do on each pin. And make it to where they're not easy to get. You know, make it to where it doesn't have to be like get to the wizard mode or anything like that. It could be achieve this multi-ball, like a super jackpot on it 100 times. Something like that. Something that gives me something to go to. Then the other thing that you could do with achievements is make it worthwhile to get those points. Like make it worth something. And my suggestion would be something like, if you have a profile with Deeproot, for instance, make it to where you could cash in your points, such as you could have these competitions, right? And a lot of people do this for games to where they have a community-wide goals to hit. like destroy 1,000 of this bases or 100,000 enemies. Like we've all seen that before. That's something that could be done here. Imagine a situation in which they're saying, start this multi-ball something like 50,000 times, and they give the whole community like a week to do that. Something like that. I mean, there's a lot of application for this, for sure. Let's see, pause and check out or checkpoint game saves would be great. Yes, Nick, I agree. I agree about that. And it looks like that they're going to do something like that for this. That would work out really well. Let's see, news, ads, and custom content. I assume that would only be for if the game's on route. I would not expect that to be in home. If they're thinking about it, I would tell them don't do it, because I know I would not want to have a pin in which somebody's random ad shows up on my Pinbar screen. I would not like that. So let's see, maintenance screens. Okay, purchase games or additional content. That one is okay. The additional content I get. Purchase games. Does that mean that the Pinbar is going to have its own game? Maybe to where you could play different games on the Pinbar? That's the first time that I've really thought about this one. Purchase games or additional content. That's making me pause and really think. I guess that means that could be something like that. Maybe that's what it is. It better not. Yeah, I don't think people would like that. I assume they're not going to do that. Let's see here. Full interactive touch video modes. Okay, push updates. I like that. All right, this right here is cool too. Can change the mode or rule set of the machine with a quick reboot. All right, so the way this is reading, and Carrie, blink twice if I'm saying this correctly. The way this is reading, I feel like that they are implementing a way in which a player can actually practice on this pin or on any other pins. I feel like if they're going to have saves or if they're going to have checkpoints and that they're saying you can change the mode or even the rule set with a quick reboot, I wonder, it would be very intriguing to me if I could get to a certain point in the game and I'm able to save my game, and then I can just replay that point over and over and over again and specifically practice that thing. Like, I can't tell you how many times, just from, like, I'm talking from a tournament player standpoint right now. I can't tell you how many times that I like trying to figure out how to play the multi-ball correctly and efficiently, meaning I want to know what the sequence of shots are according to what shots I can handle the easiest and according to where my jackpots actually are. And sometimes you got to really dig down into it, such as on Guardians of the Galaxy, to put your multipliers in the right spot also. The thought of being able to practice that without having to start from the very beginning every single time is very intriguing to me. If we were able to do that, I would 100% get a pin from Deeproot under those circumstances. That would be interesting. Let's see. If you know nothing about pinball and you wanted to buy one, would you know that you could and how? Yeah, Chris, I agree. That's why I think that that's a good thing about the ads. The other part on it, actually, too, like, keep this in mind as well. That means that a lot of people, like, okay, let's go ahead and go back up and read that and make sure we're seeing that. News, ads, and custom content. So the question is, are the ads coming from Deeproot only, or are they going to sell ad space to other people in the pinball community? Like, in theory, could I pay to advertise my YouTube channel? Could Carrie do that? Could Kaneda pay to advertise his podcast? I mean, I'm not saying all of us would, but I'm just putting that out there. Does that mean the possibility that we could do that? Does that mean a manufacturer or a distributor, could put their ad? I wonder how that would be. Location. Okay, yeah, that too. That makes a lot of sense too, as well. that the locations could just put on, like what's going on with them. I was just really curious if they would go in deep and outsource those ads even more. And actually, since they can put in a lot of their data into the pin. All right, so let's see. Future features of Pinbar. Unlock lock bar. That sounds important. This one's pretty cool. Virtual buttons for persons with disabilities. That's a good deal. Stop and start of in-progress games on different machines. That is cool. That's kind of cool. The ability to save your game and then go to the same game, but not the same pinball machine, but the same theme somewhere else, and to pick up where you left off is really cool. Adjust the difficulty level of the rule set. That is good. Load save game state. Again, I'm liking what I'm hearing right here. I really am. The idea to save my game and to keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again till I figure it out, till I get it down, that would be nice. For instance, it's like, imagine getting to a wizard mode. And maybe what I would tell Deeproot too, what I would suggest, and I'm sure they probably are doing this, and I hope that it's possible. I don't even know if it's possible, but I hope that it is. I hope that there's automatic checkpoints. That would be awesome. Like automatic checkpoints in the game. So if you're at home, before you start your new game, if you drain ball 3, maybe it can ask you, or even going to the next ball, hey, do you want to start back at the checkpoint that you were at? And keep getting extra practice in. That'd be cool. And of course, social media, play against the save log shot or save shot log. I like that as well. Of course, multiplayer, we all knew that that was coming eventually, so that's a given. Video support calls. So, I mean, all that, the last 3 things, I mean, I just figured that was a given eventually, but the other stuff is what really intrigues me. It really intrigues me. All right, so Proco. Let's go ahead and read what you're saying. The stop start on different machines sounds like a tournament director could pause your game from a different machine or even remotely when you have a stuck ball. That too. That's a big deal as well. That's exactly right. The idea that you can pause a game and not have to worry about accidentally hitting a switch or malfunctioning it any other way, that's a good thing as well. Very true. Great ideas, but no manufacturing vapor pen. Yeah, unfortunately, you're right about that as well. I mean, again, ideas, but ideas got to be executed. But right now, that's all we have at this point. We have the ideas, and I like what I hear. But again, the way that I'm going to approach this. Again, let me mute myself real quick, guys. I feel like I got to sneeze here. I swear, I need to move out of Oklahoma. My allergies are just off the charts right now. Okay. So, I mean, okay, so here's where I'm at with this all. I like the ideas, but I also recognize there needs to be manufacturing, and manufacturing is hard. It is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to do. So my choice right now is to be cautiously optimistic. I like what they're pushing. I like what they're saying that this Pinbar is going to do. I like that I'm hearing that Steve Bowden is super excited about it, which tells me if he's excited about it, because he is one of the most passionate guys about pinball I know, if he's excited about it, then I know that it's the real deal. And I'm curious to see it in action. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I hope that this all does come to fruition. But I'm also curious, at the same time, if you guys remember, this is about a year ago, Robert did an interview with This Week in Pinball, and he was even talking about doing a license for this stuff and selling it off to other companies, letting Stern do it, letting Spooky, letting Jersey Jack, just everybody but P3. And so I think that they are putting a lot into this software, and as they should. All this stuff is definitely innovative stuff. All this stuff is something that if it comes out the way that they're saying it'll come out, other pinball companies will have to follow suit. Like, not saying they have to do it overnight, not saying they have to do it within a year, but I guarantee it will become industry standard within the next 5 years, much like a massive LCD screen has been. I think all this would become industry standard very quickly. Okay, sucks so hard. It's the reason why Texas doesn't float away. I can't argue that. I love this state, but I know the shortcomings of this state also. Let's see. Do you take a daily allergy med? I've had to now, Brian. Like, okay, I'll put this out there, guys. My allergies, I might get a little off base here, but I'll address it. My allergies got so crazy that I had to go to the doctor, and I never go to the doctor. And they saw me. I couldn't breathe at all or anything. And they were like, you need to take a COVID test immediately. So I went in there. In 2020, I went to the doctor's office thinking, yeah, my allergies are crazy. Yeah, I'm coughing. Yeah, I can't breathe. Yeah, I got a sniffly nose. Yeah, I'm the guy in the mask sitting there just coughing all over the place, trying to keep it together. I thought I was just going to go in there and just get some medication for my allergies. No. Instead, I got swabs like up to my brain on this nostril, up to my brain on that nostril, and it was terrible. Terrible. I even told them, like, I don't feel nauseated. I don't feel achy. I'm not running temp or anything. They wanted to do it anyways. And of course it came back negative. And yeah, still had allergies after that. And my brain was on fire then. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Carrie, that's actually more accurate than what you think about the driver's license. It cracks me up. All right. So, and again, like I said, guys, when I see this right here, tour group, saw some of the features of Pinbar, but due to technical issues that Raza was experiencing, Pinbar interaction was glitchy. Again, all that tells me is Pinbar plays a huge part in these games, huge part. And then, of course, you know, I don't really want to go over the playfield too much. I'm sure you guys have seen all this. Again, I'm just, like I said, cool, but the hammer test stuff, it's just never interested me at all. Never has, just because it's never dawned on me to take a hammer to my playfield. And I don't know, I play my pins. I think the high-end collectors, I could see why this matters. I could definitely see why this matters, but just for me, it doesn't in particular. All right, so let's see here. Audio. All right, so I got to address this. I really do. And maybe there's some audio files out there that you guys can tell me if this is wrong. But does it really make a difference to have speakers like right here? Like, I don't know if I want to feel the sound coming at me from that direction. If you guys get what I'm saying, you guys get what I'm hinting at. Like, yes, 99.99% of my audience is male. I'm still going to be careful with my wording here. But this part I don't get. Maybe, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I did convince one of my friends, though, that they're fans for your balls. I did convince him of that, and I haven't told him that that's wrong. I haven't told him I'm joking. He's fully convinced right now. There is a human being out there right now, guys, that fully believes 100% that there's a pinball machine coming out that has fans for your balls on the front of the cabinet. You can thank me for that. I need to copyright that or trademark that. Put that on the pinball machine. Yeah, I do believe that, though, Carrie, that the game could be super loud. I do believe that. I wonder the application of this. And it's not even the looks of it. I'm just thinking of where it's located at. Because it's right below. I just don't know. I don't know. All right, electrical, again. Oof. I mean, I'm usually into this stuff. You guys see my computer right here, but I don't want to bore you guys to death with all that jargon. Let's just say that it looks like that they are making sure that they have the right computer and electronics for it. All right, so this one too. Did they need to put them there? Shrug, yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. It should at least look like the speaker covers on the back box. That just looks weird. Agreed. Agreed. And sorry, guys, I don't know how long the delay is on here. On Twitch, I'm used to it being near instantaneous. I don't know. Let's just test this out real quick. If you guys see Deadpool, tell me. I don't know if the delay's 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So I want to make sure I don't get too far ahead of you guys here. Looks like I'm about 10 seconds delay. Crotch fans. I mean, Tom, I'm just saying, I'm literally just saying, we've all been to a herb format before where there's 200 of us just all standing around. And I'm not saying that it gets a little smelly in there. I'm just saying we know the people that don't wear deodorant and it gets a little smelly in there. So maybe fans might help. All right, so other Deeproot platform features. One person setup, available for Deeproot machines or in a universal retrofit. Attaches to the bottom of the cabinet. I like this one. So the way that I'm reading that, Carrie, I don't know if you can say anything about this. The way that I'm reading this, that means that this product would be able to be used on pretty much any machine that's out there right now. If that's cool, I mean, well, not if that's cool. If that's correct, how I'm reading that, I like that. Because I feel like I'm going to kill myself half the time I try to break down my own pen. On standard cabinets. Okay, excellent. I like the idea of that. All right, one person setup convenience changes a safety issue into an easy, safe way to set up or break down your own machine. Okay, yada, yada, yada. All right, yeah, okay, there you go. You're right. Compatible with the majority of standard body machines. Okay, sweet. I like that. I like that. We didn't get to see it more words. You've dropped interest in playing games at TPF due to certain people's oh gosh. Let me tell you, like, I'm not even joking. I shouldn't even tell the story. I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say the name because they're actually a really, really nice guy. But there was at one point, I legitimately at I forgot what tournament it is. I just remember this part. I was playing on a pin and it was herb format. For those that don't know, it's like your highest score. You're in line or in queue and you get up there, you try to put up the highest score you can in 3 balls, and then you get out of there and you just redo it all over again. You re-queue up and you try to do it on another machine or that same machine. I'm playing on it and I'm trapped up and it was so bad. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was Tom. It was definitely Tom from Wisconsin. It was so bad that I just said, you know what? This is not worth it. I need to rethink my choices in life. And I just plunged and drained my balls. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like it was so bad, guys, that I thought maybe I should say something because I don't know if they're aware of it, but then I didn't want to offend them either. I know, guys, if you guys ever meet me in person and my breath is kicking for whatever reason, like I'm really anal about that. But if my breath is kicking for whatever reason, or if I smell like BO, like tell me. I promise you, I won't get mad. You guys are doing me a solid. You guys are doing me a solid. Maybe it's strategy. Tony, I've got some friends that fight mixed martial arts. And one of them, I don't want to say her name out loud, but she fights in Invicta. And they have told me some hilarious stories, like not showering for a week straight at all before. And I'm like, that is so disgusting. I wouldn't doubt people do that in pinball. I would not doubt that at all. Shit, maybe that might be a new strategy for me. Maybe I need to do that. When we get back into tournaments and things get sanctioned, yeah. I'm not going to shower at all. I should do that before Pinburg. I think we should all do that before Pinburg. Nobody just shower. We just all show up. God bless everybody on the plane getting there. I mean, everybody's wearing masks anyways. I'm sure we'll still be wearing masks by this point next year, even if we're all starting to get out more. It'll be fine. It's good. It's good. Okay, so let's see here. This one person setup is expected to be demonstrated during the upcoming virtual Pinball Expo Is the virtual pinball expo, is that Chicago Expo? I knew they canceled it, but I didn't know if they changed it. That's the way it sounds to me. Some people crop dust as a strategy at tournaments. You have no idea. I know for a fact that they do. I know that for a fact. Todd Tucky smells. Well, then I guess we need to tell Todd. I've actually never met him before. I've watched his videos. Okay, so it is Chicago. Okay. So let's see here. Assisted leveling. Deeproot's assisted leveling guidance prompts you whether to raise or lower each of the 4 legs to put the playfield in the factory preset 6.5 degree level position via the Pinbar. I like that. That's a good thing. Special foot locks make adjusting the legs easy so you don't have to use the turtle approach. Thank you. Okay. I like that as well. Why did they not do this? Carrie, can you tell me or tell any of us why they did not just go ahead and just show this off on video? This is stuff I really would have liked to see this week. Obviously, they're going to show the setup at the Chicago Virtual Expo, but man, this is stuff that I wish they could have done. Okay, so they're just saving it all. Okay, so that was pre-planned. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense then. Because all this, I mean, this is all the intriguing stuff. Like, I am seriously more intrigued by this than I am any of the pinball machines, to be honest with you. All right, so Pin Pod. This one I'm not intrigued with, I gotta be honest. The Pin Pod is an optional reusable pinball storage and shipping container. I mean, I could see how that would work. I don't know. Would anybody use this transporting pins to a show? I mean, would it be needed? I mean, obviously there's some applications for it. I just don't know besides receiving the pin. I don't know what I would do with the box afterwards, is what I'm saying. But I get it though. Let's see, some future features Deeproot is planning. 2021 audio-visual upgrades. Let's see, more audio. Lighting, providing auto balancing of light above and on the, okay. I like that. I like that. The haptic feedback around the lock bar palm area for games in 2021 to provide even more important feel during gameplay. What does that mean? We will add haptic feedback around the lock bar palm area for games. All right, somebody help me because I have an Oklahoma State education. What in the world does haptic feedback mean in relation to a lock bar? Vibrating pin bar? Is that what they're talking about? Shaker motors? Yeah, haptic is definitely vibration. I'm just trying to figure out how that would apply to the lock bar. Like, are they saying like it's just going to be a shaker motor in the lock bar? Don't knock on OSU fire. I went there. My wife graduated from there too. I mean, is that what they're saying? Yeah, I agree. I don't want my hands vibrating either during pinball. Like, I don't mind the shaker motor, but I'll be honest, if I use the shaker motor very little. And I don't like it when my actual hands vibrate. But obviously you'd be able to turn this off. But if it's at a tournament and the tournament director does not turn it off, then I'm going to have an issue. When you nail a super jackpot and when the second ball drains, you get a fill reward. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Again, I get it. I try to look at it from all angles. I get it. I just don't know if that one would be for me. Might be for somebody. Maybe some of you guys out there like your hands vibrating. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. Let's see. Ecosystem software. Deeproot describes their software and operating system in the following way. All right. Our RDE, Pinball Rapid Development Engine, is a point-and-click device to rapidly develop the core framework of a pinball title. All playfield assets, light animations, and script definitions can be rapidly developed or edited. Our PinOS is a multi-threaded framework engine that serves as communications hub between our proprietary game engine script, Unity front-end, and our FMOD audio engine. So that's also intriguing because I, believe it or not, just last week, I legitimately had a 2-hour conversation with somebody that he's into computers and all that. And he was talking about how he wonders why pinball in general doesn't take the general framework of a rule set or scripting or whatever and just roll that over to the next thing and to the next thing and make it kind of modular. And so this right here sounds very similar to what he was talking about. Because he was saying it would make it so much more efficient to get rule sets done at a much faster pace. Like he works in computers and software and all that. So all the talk was way above my head because I don't do coding at all, but this sounds very similar to what he was talking about. My wife likes my hands vibrating. Mine does too. That's why I have 4 kids. That's what happens sometimes, right? Let's see. If a game has both a shaker motor and haptic pin bar, I wonder if the player can tell the difference of each vibration. I would assume so. All right, we capture, record, and timestamp nearly every event that happens under the glass. This allows us volumes of data to enhance online offerings like shot log and scoring. It also assists with diagnosing or anticipating issues with the pinball machine. All right, it just sounds like there's a lot of data. A lot of data you can go over. I don't know if people would use that as much. I know I would probably look at it just because I'm weird like that, but I do remember, if anybody's seen the TMNT thread on Pinside, there's people in there having meltdowns over their drain logs, like whether it's draining more on the left or on the right or on the center. Like there's people, somebody legitimately put up, it looked like a toothpick or whatever, blocking off the left out lane because of it. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see. Well, you kind of saw that when you see Kiss Code Remains of Aerosmith, just copy. Yeah, that's true. You kind of see, I think more or less they're talking about not pulling direct code, but more like the framework of the code to where you could take out a lot of the upfront grunt work, I would think, before you really get into basically changing the code that makes a difference. Let's see. Let me catch up with you guys here in the chat. See, 904 rules are plot and theme specific. They do use code structures from previous games. See all. Okay. So then so knowing that then, okay, so if they already do that, does this make a difference? For those that are more aware of all this than I am, does this make a difference at all? Does any of this tell you guys that it makes things easier? Because I quite frankly don't know. I'm making the assumption that would make things easier if they are putting a fancy word on it, but I quite frankly don't know. Somebody much smarter has to answer this question for me. Yeah, I agree, Fire. I agree that there's definitely different templates for sure. I'm just not sure if this is making the templates just that much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward here. With our worldwide omni-channel access, users can log in to any Deeproot machine, whether or not it is connected to the internet. I like that one. Personal games preferences and or save game data can be loaded and scoring can be saved. I like that one as well. push updates by the minute, hour, day if we choose to. All right, so that right there too, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. When we look at this right here, the ability to update your machine without having to use this thing, and without having to sit here, and without having to take the translate off and plug it in, I like this. If I could just hit a button and it updates, I'm cool with that. Totally cool with that. That would be nice. So omni-channel, again, allows you to access your scores on Deeproot machines and log in to any Deeproot machine anywhere in the world, even if it's not connected to the internet. What I don't understand, if it's not connected to the internet, how does it know? And again, I'm probably looking at something very obvious. I'm not familiar with any of this terminology. I don't even know what omni-channel would even mean. What does that mean? Is that like a fancy word for multiple channels? Again, somebody much more intelligent has to clue me in on this. I wish I could act like I even know what that is. I have no idea. The Pin Access is a web and mobile offering by Deeproot that brings scores, leaderboards, and other community features to Deeproot owners and players. I mean, that's okay. Honestly, I don't care about scores or leaderboards just because unless everybody's playing on the same pin, it's too difficult to know. It's way too difficult to know. You're playing the TMT right now, the outlane drains. Okay, omni-channel just means multi-channel. Okay. So I was right. There you go. Look at that. Brian, I got it down. Just shot an arrow in the dark and I hit the target right on the bullseye. Look at that. I'm proud of myself right now. I am proud of myself for figuring that one out. Pinbar. Pinbar. That is too funny. All right, so shot log, scoring features, recording an entire shot log for each game saved. All right, so for me, I like this. And that's just because if I can figure out how to play a game in the most efficient manner and know what I'm supposed to hit at the right time, and I can actually look at real-time data to understand that even better and not have to like write down on my little notepad where my roadmap is, I like that. I like that. Can comment on, rate, and note conditions of a machine. That's really cool. That is really cool. Again, study shot logs to learn rule sets and improve play and score. That's really cool as well. Let's see here. Using analytics and data analysis can compare and contrast shot logs. I'll record it. Instant custom leaderboards over multiple metrics. Compete against any recorded shot log in real time. Progress tracking and achievement-based play. Think mobile gaming. Think mobile gaming with achievement-based play. I play mobile games, guys, and I'm trying to think how that would apply to this. Allows for more challenges and play options without changing the rule set. Okay. What about this, guys? What about this? What if they do it this way? What if each of our pinball machines or each Deeproot pinball machine comes with a daily challenge and a weekly challenge? That could be what it is. I feel like that's what they're referring to when they say achievement-based play. I feel like that's what they're referring to, especially when they say mobile gaming. That's a really excellent idea that has not been done before and automatically makes your pinball machine relevant every single day to at least play it and try to do something. That's really cool. In something like that, they could easily make competitions to where whoever does something, during a certain time frame gets some type of prize or something. Or maybe you could, I don't know, you could be in groups, guilds or whatever and do stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities on it. That's interesting. But you know, when it comes to shot log and all that, we're definitely getting in the weeds with that. For me, I could find utility in that simply because being a tournament player, I want to be as efficient as possible. I don't know. I mean, maybe for does anybody here not play tournaments? I'm curious about that. Anybody at all? Anybody here just play pinball for the love of pinball and annoying your significant other like I like to do? Or does everybody here play tournaments? Are we all trying to win Pinburg? Which one is it? So for those that don't play tournaments, is shot logs, is that something that interests you? Like if you're a casual player, is this something that you would actually look at? Like I don't know the utility for a very casual player that just wants to get on their pin, just hit the shots and just drink a beer and just have a good time. I don't see them looking over analytics and all that. Started pinball during COVID. Hey, there you go, Paul. No time is might as well just do it now, right? See, Carrie, nope. Yeah, you don't play. You don't play, do you? I remember that. We talked about that once. Or no, you talked about that in a video. You're trying to casually win Pinburg, aren't we all? Aren't we all? I mean, that's the dream, that we all go to Pinburg and we can all just lay on the stage like Keith Elwin and just casually blow up a game. Only seeing afterwards to see what was worth how much if they go down. Like, oh gosh. Yeah, it's... I can't even go down that road tonight on Dwight Code. Yeah, funny you mention that though. You're a B+ player. Tom, you won B division. I can't talk anything. I cannot say anything about Pinburg at all. There's a lot of people that still don't realize that I played C division. Like I still talk to people to this day. And when they ask me what place I got, and I was like, I don't know, like 400 something. They're like, how's that even possible? You can't. And I have to tell them I'm not A restricted. Like I played so bad, guys, so bad. I know I've talked about it before, but holy crap, it was like okay, guys, I played so bad at Pinburg this past year, or I say this past year, 2019. I played so bad that in one of my qualifying rounds, I legitimately had somebody ask me, nicest lady ever. I mean, she was like my grandma's age, nicest woman ever. Legitimately asked me if this was my first time playing pinball. And I was just like, oh gosh. It hurts. It hurt. I had to swallow a lot of pride there. And I mean, I was not shishy about it or anything like that. I was just like, no, ma'am, I've played before once or twice. Yeah, it was that bad. Like I legitimately, yeah, it is a different animal. I didn't even house ball. I was just missing shots. It was terrible. It was so terrible. Okay, so we'll get into the planned titles here in just a few. Let me catch up with the guys in the chat here. Let's see. All right, is it P. Rocco? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that right. I want to say Proco. P. Rocco or Proco? Just going to make things up along the way. So it says, otherwise, it might be interesting if like an AI can evaluate the game state and give you 3 or 4 options with a few shots each and how much is worth. That's the way I'm reading it. I think they will have something like that because they said something about it a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were here when we went over it. Let me just go up. They had something in here that indicated that it was going to tell you what the next, oh, there it is right there. What's next or Shot Genie. So they are doing something very similar to that. It's one word. So it's Proco. Proco. Okay, I got this down. We're good. All right, so now we're at the meat. The planned titles. We're at the home stretch. All right, we're going to do this. So Fire and Brimstone, does that theme get people excited? Does reliving the Old Testament alongside the prophets of ancient times and building up faith and suffering from the wrath of God, does that get you excited? Does that get you fired up? Does that get you fired up? Tom says kind of. That just, oh gosh, that's what she said. Well, here's the thing too, Brian. I wonder. So how are they going to do this? Yeah, hit the left rim to part the sea. Like, are they going to have a Noah's Ark multi-ball in here? Like, is the bash toy going to be the boat, like right in the middle, and then it just kind of like just brings it down, and your balls are the animals, and you got to park them on there, and then just water just fills up the whole play field afterwards, and you just got to kind of just treat your pinball machine like it's a freaking boat, and you just got to try to keep the balls in play. I wonder. Like, I'll admit it, the theme doesn't excite me at all, but if they do the theme, okay, if they do the theme like Legion, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, like the Legion movie, to where it is very much based on religion, but very much geared towards adults, to where you're playing like an actual, I don't know, plot line dealing with that. That would intrigue me. But if this is legitimately just pure, like straight up, you're playing Bible stories, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would excite me theme wise, but if it plays well, I'll play it. I'll play it. Even if Elwin designed it hard, no. Yeah, it's fire. I agree. It's a touchy subject. It's interesting that they're going after that, but they're very careful to do a multi-denominational religious pinball game. That right there, since it's multi-denominational, that means they're going to have all types of things. So I'm curious. The layout and design has some interesting things so far. Okay, that's like I said, it all for me. It all comes down to design. Reminds you of what Riot has done with Greek and Norse gods. Let's see, it could be good with the right art, animation, light show. Good shooting game, might be into it. Does the multi-dimensional refer to the vibrating hands lock bar? No, well, what that's saying is multi-denominational. So that basically means they're not going to just focus on one religion, is the way that I'm understanding it. So you push start and say, let there be light. Yeah. Maybe they might have, I don't know, they might have like Rapture multi-ball, where you're in a 5-ball multi-ball, and then all of a sudden you're down to 2. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. All right, so moving on to the next one here. Food truck. Does food truck excite anybody? So I'm in between on this. I am, and I'll tell you why I'm in between on this. I didn't know any of these themes really. I knew a couple of the themes when I was on the Final Round Pinball podcast last night. And this podcast should be coming out at some point. And when they tell me these themes, they wanted me to give my first reaction to it. And when they said food truck after Fire and Brimstone, I thought for sure they were just taking the piss out of me. I was like, they are punking me so hard that they are trying just to get me to analyze food truck and all that. So that was my first instinct when I heard that. And you guys will hear that on that podcast when it comes out. But when I think about it more, I feel like what they're trying to go for is a diner type game. That's what I feel like they're trying to go for. I feel like they're trying to bring back those whimsical type themes that were around in the 80s. So I can, see, just like Chris said, food truck equals 2020 diner. So I could see how, I'm trying to figure out the way to put this. The theme does not excite me. But if it has a good layout and has good shots and has cool mechs, then I'd want to look. Because I mean, I like Diner. It's not necessarily a game that I would want to own, but I like playing it. I enjoy playing it. And most of the time, whenever I do play a game on location or anywhere else, I play it because I like the layout. And a lot of these games I have to play anyways because I have to figure out how to play them if it shows up in a tournament. All right, so the theme is kind of for everybody. So you would imagine this would be a simple newbie player game for location. Yeah, I could agree to that. But the only thing is, though, even if it is a newbie game designed for location, if you put food truck, all right, so let's just imagine this world right now. If we put food truck next to Avengers, what are people that are not pinball people, what are they going to gravitate to first? I would like to think 8-9 times out of 10 it'll be Avengers, but you never know. The potentiality here, though, of it being a fun game is definitely there. I mean, there's history behind people putting out themes similar to this and doing, I guess, keeping the game simple. Okay, just like Krista. Yeah, we're on the same page here. We're on the same page. All right, so moving on, Merlin's Arcade. Medieval arcade Olympics set in the 80s. Train with Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table battle Morgan Le Fay to regain the Holy Poppin' Grail. Based on 8-Ball Deluxe with flow and precision around new mech's unique gameplay HUD. I'm not going to lie. I'm interested in this one. And not necessarily because of the theme, although I could see that some people might like this theme. I am very much interested in the fact that they're saying that this is based on 8-Ball Deluxe with flow. I'm very interested in a pin coming out that leans more towards the solid state era, but is brought up to current times. Like, that's what I really liked about TNA. It really reminded me of the solid state era, even though it had some new up-to-date type mechs with it as well. So I am interested in this. I agree, Dom. Classic layouts could be interesting, or would be interesting. Solid state with modern stuff, yes. Okay, good Fire Gamer. Tom's just like, screw all these. I'm just going straight to the Who. Yeah, I could see. I'm interested in this. And I'm guessing by looking at this, is that an indication of what they're supposed to have? The 1414141424341444. Yeah, I wonder if this is indicating you collecting the Knights of the Round Table. Good versus evil. You know what? I got it. I think this is what they're doing with this. Okay, guys, what if, based on looking at this, what if this is a co-op game in which a player can be on good and they're facing a player on the evil side? And there's a timer here, obviously. Maybe the game plays in stages to where you have to collect. That's... And it says unique gameplay HUD. I don't think this is going to play like a traditional game in terms of what your goals are. I could see this possibly being a co-op game in which you're supposed to collect people from your side to fight against somebody else on the other side somehow. That's unique. I could see that being a deal here. All right, so now we're on to the Who. This little a team battle royale with 8 players. That could be what it is. Could be. Yeah, I like how Carrie's giving little hints. Weird how they're blurred out. All right, so The Who. I guess this is a popular band. Now that's I think this is a cool theme. I do. I mean, I know obviously there's some people out there that don't want the old school rock band themes, but they flat out sell. They just do. And there's, you know, I forgot a lot of the songs they did till Jeff reminded me, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's a hit. Oh yeah, that's a hit. Oh yeah, that's a hit. And now I'm thinking this would be pretty cool. So we're all in agreement that this is going to be a good theme. At least most of us. Most of us are going to be. I know some of us are tired of music themes and all that, and that's perfectly cool. All right, just like Fire just said, music pins don't excite you unless it plays great. Like, I get that. I can see how some people get tired of it. I mean, it's the same way I know some people have comic book fatigue or Marvel fatigue. It has unique mechs, special effects round out this musical spectacle. So you go on an amazing journey in search of the Pinball Wizard. So I have to assume Pinball Wizard is in the game. That's just a given. So I like that theme. All right, moving on. Gladiator. Concept: play as Septimus, am I pronouncing that right? I hope I am. A captured slave who must rise in the ranks of the gladiators of Rome, hone your skills, kill the senators, and overthrow the emperor who killed your family and enslaved you. Holy crap. What a narrative. What a narrative right there. I'm just coming to play pinball, and damn it, my family has been killed and I'm enslaved. Okay. Shit got real pretty quick, didn't it? Based on the 3D Space Cadet layout, first virtual table converted to a physical layout, subways galore. So I love the theme. I don't know how I feel about the Space Cadet layout. Of course, I played it before on computer. I just never have thought about its application in actual physical state. I'm not, that part I'm not sure. Sounds like Thanksgiving. Ain't that the truth? Brian, yes. To my understanding, license completely secured for The Who. But I like the theme though. This has some potential to it. And I assume if it's based on that layout, it's probably already made pretty much. I would have to think. We've already seen it, but I don't know. I don't know how that would work in real time. Yeah, exactly. How would that work with real physics? All right, so to be flat out honest, guys, this is the one pin that has me really excited. This Yukon Yeti is a sequel to Whitewater, which is really cool. Like, I personally like Whitewater. I know it's kind of a one-trick pony, but I enjoy the game overall. Like, the theme is just dorky enough to me with just whitewater rafting that makes no sense in pinball, but yet it makes perfect sense. I really enjoy the pin overall. So to know that they're doing something like this, that's interesting to me. Is this the presidential election 2020 pin? Could be. Good old Gladiator. Dom, that's the question. That's the question. And right now, all we can wonder is what these themes would look like when they do come out. But that is the question, because I think this is like 15 games total. And obviously, it takes Stern, 3 or 4 years to get out 15 games? Probably 4. So, I don't know. I feel like some of these we may not even see at the earliest 2025. Because I still feel like we're over 6 months away from seeing anything even show up to market. All right, Machine Age. Concept: you're dropped into a battle spanning ages, beings, and time itself. Help 2 diesel punk heroes take on the world's greatest threat in this dystopian thriller with the help of a mystery ally. Who is the mystery ally? That is the question. I don't know what that means. Are we the mystery ally? Like, out of all this, I want to know who the mystery ally is. So it says open layout with 3 first ever mechs. Stunning video, game quality animation. So obviously it's claiming that there's 3 mechs that we've never seen before. I can't begin to even think about the mechs that haven't been made. See, Bowden was really excited to talk about this one. I suspect this will be big for tournament peeps. Really? All right. So the one pin that is pretty much the most vague. Interesting. Mystery ally, random person in multiplayer. Could be. Could be. Got me intrigued. If Bowden's excited about it, then it's got to be something. That would mean it's a game with good design, open layout. So that tells me right there that you're going to have the ability to actually hit your shots. You're going to have room to breathe. And if Bowden is into it, then that would mean that you're able to make certain decisions that would be fun for a tournament player to do, which means that you might not necessarily just have to do just the thing. You might have multiple things you could do. Kind of like what you do in Elwyn pins. It gives you lots of options. That would be really nice. All right, so another great pin that's coming out. It's called Titled TBD. That one is in high-end demand. So the concept, space pirates keep order in the cosmos by causing nightmares for the villainous trade syndicates. Progress from grunt to captain in this cosmic keep what you steal epic. A revisioning of the classic black hole with a groundbreaking mech that redefines multi-level playfields. Okay, so black hole, I gotta remember right, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, is black hole the game that on the lower playfield, the flippers are actually away from you to where you're hitting the ball towards you? I think I've played that maybe once or twice. I can't remember if that's what it is, if I'm thinking of the right game. Okay, yes, look at that. I'm legitimately at least 2 for 11 today with my explanations. I am on fire right now. All right, so we don't have much to go off here. Groundbreaking mech that redefines multi-level playfields. I can't even begin to think what that could be. What could that be? Groundbreaking mech that redefines multi-level playfields. What could that be? Does that mean like maybe when I think multi-level playfields and I think of a groundbreaking mech, does that mean maybe if it's a underneath playfield or a playfield down below, is it modular to where it rises and then it becomes a top playfield or upper level playfield? Maybe. I don't know if that's even mechanically possible with the way pinball machines are, but that would be interesting. That would be interesting to have a playfield that comes up to different levels. If somebody could figure that out, I'd be intrigued. All right, then of course, Magic Girl, we went over that earlier. You know, I'm going to assume that obviously this is a little movie from the 80s. I don't know if you guys have heard of it before. It had some fans. Let's put it that way. That would be such a troll move, though, if it wasn't that. That'd be such a troll move. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. I'm personally not a big Goonies fan. I've watched the movie, though, like 5 times because I had to. But I know a lot of people want this theme. So if it's Goonies, awesome. Very awesome. All right, other titles in development. Alice, combative racing license, multiplex, popular board game license, 80s movie license. Out of all these, believe it or not, The one that has my attention is the I gotta sneeze again real quick. I swear, my allergies better leave me. I better sleep like a baby tonight. I'm gonna take a Benadryl, my inhaler, and I'm gonna sleep like a freaking baby. Cannot wait. I'm more excited about the racing license. When it says combative, I think of Twisted Metal. I don't know if anybody here has played that. I might be dating myself a little bit, but I played the hell out of that game when I was younger. I love the Twisted Metal series. I wish that they would make a movie about it. I just love that series. Let's see. The 80s title will have a mech that has never been in a game before. That's intriguing too. There's a lot of different movies too. Like there's 2 movies I would like to see from the 8, or actually there's 3. There's 3. I would like to either see Top Gun, Die Hard, or Gremlins. Those are the 3 I really want to see. Let's see, popular board game license. What could that be? Clue? Or Life or Risk? I would think Clue. My guess would be Clue. Clue would be really good because Who Done It? That's actually a really fun game. I don't know if anybody here has played it before, but the concept of it is a lot of fun. And I think they could recreate that with Clue easily. That'd be really cool. Yeah. Oh, Twisted Metal 2. Yeah, Carrie, you're on the right track, brother. That was an excellent game. I've spent many hours playing that game. I wouldn't mind seeing Gremlins. I think out of the 3 of those, Gremlins would be the one I'd want to see more than anything. Okay, you know what theme I really want to see, guys? And I don't think this is from the 80s. Or it might be 1989 that came out. I know the whole thing started in the 80s, but the theme that I would love to see, like my ultimate off-the-wall dream theme that I know will never happen, but I wish it would happen, is Christmas Vacation. I would play the shit out of a Christmas Vacation pinball machine. Just think of all the different parts that they could have to that game. Like, I want Cousin Eddie to have a call out where a multi-ball starts and it starts by him saying the shitter's full. If you haven't watched Christmas Vacation, you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch it this year. I love that movie. That's my one off the wall theme that I wish would happen. Man, we made it to the end. Holy cow. Look at that. We did it, guys. We all got through it. That's a lot of interesting stuff. I'm trying to figure out the best way to wrap this up with everything that we just went over. I'm excited about it. I hope that they do put something out pretty soon. Gosh, there's so much because it makes my head spin with as much info that they did provide. Here's the weirdest thing about this, guys. And I don't know, is anybody else feeling this way right now? The weirdest thing about all of this is that we had a non-reveal turn into the very next day, like the biggest dump of information that any pinball company has ever provided us. Like, it went from no reveal to here is practically everything. And I'm torn between the lack of reveal on Monday to just this information dump that came out, which I'm glad they gave us some information. I'm actively just still trying to process it all. But I like the idea of it all. I really like the idea of Pinbar. I hope that they do come out with something pretty soon. I hope that whatever issues did happen this past weekend, I hope they can all get addressed. It sounds like that the potential is there. And that's key right now. Now, obviously, at some point, rubber's going to meet the road and potential needs to turn into action. And that's mainly what I'm looking at right now. I'm hoping that there will be action pretty soon. I really do. I want them to be successful. I really do. But we shall see. Either way, guys, I'm going to wrap it up right there. We hit right at 2 hours. I don't really know what else I can say about this. I think we'll just end our talk about Deeproot there, and just whenever there is information that comes up, if there's new things that come to light, we'll address it. We'll talk about it. Like I said before, I wish Raza could have been shown, but again, I'm very interested in the Pinbar, and I hope that they get the tech figured out, because there's a lot of stuff that's cool in there, and a lot of interesting ideas that could possibly come out pretty soon, or fairly soon, I hope. But either way, guys, thank you guys so much for being here. I definitely do appreciate it. We will be back at some point with some more content. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing another podcast this week or not, because my son's birthday is coming up next week, but we're going to celebrate it this weekend, so I might take a few days off. Either way, if I don't talk to you guys this week, for sure I'll be back by next Monday, and then from there, of course, every Wednesday night around 9 p.m. US Central Standard Time will be on, and hopefully my allergies and everything will be done. But other than that, though, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for chatting. And I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great week.